Hey everybody, it's Christian from Human Risk with another tale of suboptimal decision making and what we can learn from it. Now last week, 6 former eBay employees were charged with leading a cyber stalking campaign targeting the editor and publisher of a newsletter that eBay executives viewed as critical of the company. Since 1999, Ina and David Steiner, a married couple based in Boston, have published E-commerce Bites, a newsletter for small merchants who sell goods online. Last year, following a number of articles that weren't to eBay's liking, the Steiners began to receive items through the post that included live cockroaches, larval worms, a bloody pig mask, and a book about coping with the death of a loved one, closely followed by a funeral wreath. Meanwhile, their neighbours were sent hardcore pornography, which was made to look like misdirected mail ordered by the Steiners, and ads appeared on Craigslist inviting swingers to drop by the Steiners' home at any time. eBay staff also travelled from Silicon Valley to Boston, driving to the Steiners' home with the apparent intention of installing a GPS tracker on their car. They also carried false documents which they could show to the police if they aroused suspicions. These purported to show that they were investigating the Steiners as persons of interest who had threatened eBay executives. Understandably, the Steiners reported this harassment to the police. The individuals responsible then sought to interfere with the investigation by lying to the police and eBay's lawyers while pretending to offer the company's assistance with the harassment. As the investigations continued, the defendants allegedly deleted incriminating evidence. eBay responded by firing the individuals concerned, and while there wasn't any evidence directly linking the CEO Devin Wenig to the activity, they did find he'd sent text messages in relation to Ira Steiner, which included phrases like "take that lady down." Wenig hasn't been indicted, but was allowed to resign from the company, at which point he bizarrely got paid $57 million, twice his usual remuneration, and strangest of all, had his stock options accelerated. When news of the indictment came out last week, eBay issued a boilerplate statement condemning the activity, noting that it went against their corporate values and saying the company had cooperated fully with the authorities, as if to suggest that not cooperating with them was an option. This has all the makings of a Netflix documentary, and it's a story rammed full of human risk. Now, given there's a legal case involved, it's perhaps not surprising that eBay is trying to distance itself as much as possible from the behaviour of its former employees. But I'm not so sure that's a compelling line to take. Let's examine the facts here. This isn't exactly the work of renegade operatives. This was a group of senior individuals within the organisation. They included the firm's Senior Director of Safety and Strategy, its Director of Global Resiliency, its Senior Manager of Global Intelligence, and Manager of its Global Security team who was formerly a police captain, as well as other analysts and consultants. It's also clearly at best unethical and at worst illegal. The individuals involved would have known without needing to be told that what they were doing was wrong. Creating cover stories, fabricating evidence, and destroying evidence aren't in the job description. You don't need a policy or training to tell you that. This operation, let's call it what it was, also took a huge amount of planning. This wasn't a single act in the heat of the moment. It took logistics and coordination and involved the deployment of company money and resources. So when eBay positions this solely as the fault of the individuals concerned, I respectfully disagree. That's not to say the individuals shouldn't be held accountable for their actions. They clearly should. But there's something in the culture of the company which empowered them to justify doing what they did. Yet solving the problem just by firing the individuals who engage in this activity isn't solving the problem at all, because it doesn't deal with the underlying reasons that caused them to think it was acceptable to behave in this way. Allowing the CEO to resign while paying them off also sends an interesting signal. Changing personnel without changing the culture merely risks repeating the same mistakes. Collective memories fade and history can and does repeat itself. What eBay's response arguably ignores is the simple truth that you demonstrate your culture and values in your behaviours. What is written down is merely aspirational. The reality is what happens on the ground. There's a delicious irony here. eBay's core business recognises that actions speak louder than words. That's why they have ratings that allow buyers and sellers to rate those with whom they do business. Knowing how the person you're about to do business with has behaved in the past gives you greater trust. So when you have lots of people engaging in undesirable activity, particularly when they're senior, then that's not people going against your values. Those are your company's values. I'm Christian from Human Risk. Thanks for watching. As ever, if you've seen something you think I should feature in a future video, let me know. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Until the next time.